All right, let's make an expo marker. This one, a little tricky, but we can do this one. So the idea here is we're going to do a lot of revolving. So we're going to make a cross section that kind of looks like this, all the way over here. So we're going to make this cross section, and then we're going to revolve it 360 degrees. There's also a chisel tip, but that chisel tip is not revolved. You can see it's a rectangle. See that? So we'll do that. We'll do that last. Okay, so let's go ahead right now and we'll start our general shape for the body of the marker. Oop, that's a pop can. Let me get out of this one. Let's start a new part studio. That's a donut. Part studio. There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start a sketch on the front plane. Let's go ahead and use a rectangle. We're going to use a corner rectangle. And we'll go out this way. Oops, that didn't work. Let's try that one more time. Corner rectangle. We're going to go out this way. This is kind of like the body of the marker, the fat part of the marker. But we need to make half of the fat part of the marker. That's the tricky part here. So the total width of the fat part of the marker is right here. It's 0.72. So we need half of that. Let's see. So 0.72 over 2. All right, so that's the total width. What's the length that we need? The length is shown right here, 3.71. All right, so that's pretty good. I like how that's looking. One thing we want to do here is I think there's a fillet, so let's take a look. And it looks like there is a little fillet right here. So we need to measure that fillet. Now, actually, or find it on the drawing. If we look down here, we can find out what that fillet dimension is. It's a radius of 0.185. Come back up here to the fillet tool. We'll select here and here. And we are filleted, but it's filleted a little too much. We needed, what was it? 0.185. Beautiful. Okay, so now we've made sort of the base part of the marker. The marker now, we need to make a little portion. It's like a little portion right here that we can include in our overall half cross section. So we need to kind of figure that part out right now. If we look at the length of this rectangle, this dimension right here, it's really going to be 4.323 minus 3.71. So let's use, well, let's kind of draw it and then we'll throw the dimension in. So we need to come over here and we need to make, let's make a box here. Let's make a triangle or a rectangle. Don't go all the way up to the fillet because we don't know if it actually reaches the fillet or not. So make it kind of like that. That will be safe. We'll let Onshape do the math for us and figure out exactly where it'll end up. So the length is going to be 4.323 minus 3.71. 4.323 minus, I never remember, minus 3.71. Okay, so that's our length. Now our height is another thing we got to measure. Let's see what our height is. So if we look over here, we can find the height in this detail right here. 0.34 is the total height of from here to here. So we need half of that amount, 0.34 divided by 2. All right, and it looks like it barely doesn't connect with the fillet, so I'm glad we sort of let Onshape do the hard work figuring that out. All right, so we can go ahead now and we can kind of cut this, trim this line in here. I have to hit it twice. Okay, and it's thinner now. That means that is the axis, and I think we're ready to revolve. So let's finish our sketch. Let's revolve this around 360 degrees, and we'll select this line as our axis. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and make this sketch right here. It's going to be this box that we have to draw. It's a little rectangle, and that is the expo marker sticking out. So that's what we have to draw first. You know the width of the, or I guess the height of that box is going to be 0.15, and then the width is going to be this dimension right here, 0.228. So we have to throw that in there. So let's go over to our marker. We'll sketch right on this plane right here. And we're going to select a center point rectangle. So we make sure our rectangle is nice and centered. And we'll make a rectangle. So let's go back to our dimensions here. 0.15 is the height. And the width is going to be 0.228. Just like that. Hit the checkbox, and then now we're ready to extrude. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to draw or to extrude it, and so we have to figure out what this dimension is going to be right here. And that dimension is actually drawn over here as well. It's right here, right there. So what we need to do is a little math. So we'll do 4.630 minus 4.323. And if we do that, we should get this dimension right in the middle. Let's go ahead and do that right now for the extrusion. So we'll grab our rectangle. We're going to extrude this out. 4.636, I believe it was. Let's double check that. 630. 4.630 minus 4.323. All right, that looks about right. So we'll hit our checkbox, and then we'll sketch on top of this in order to make the little chisel triangle. So we'll start a sketch right on top of the felt tip, and we're going to make a triangle like this. So that way we can subtract this material away. If we look back over here, we can see that the angle at which we want to make the kind of the triangle that we want to cut away is 60 degrees. So we can do that over here. Oops, we can do that over here with the dimension tool. We click on this line, and click down here at this line, and ooh, I was really close. 60 degrees exactly is what we want. Hit the green checkbox, and we'll do another extrusion. So in this case, we're going to extrude downward. We're going to actually remove material, and we'll just remove it. Big depth of 5 inches, that's fine. And it cuts this away. And now we have our chisel tip marker.